Hello and welcome, Elevated Planet community. My name is Jolé Gabrielle with John Drew, the captain of this ship. And today we're going to be bringing you some more uplifting and exciting,
Hello, everyone.
energy and I guess uplifting spiritual energy for this Christmas Eve. John, take it away.
Thank you, Jolé, and hi, everybody. Thank you for being here on Christmas Eve 2023. It's all very exciting. And we have an action-packed show for you tonight. There's a lot of stuff going on. And some really fascinating stuff from Lee Harris and the Z's is what is going to start us off. Now, the Lee Harris, I've been following his work for the last few years, and he is really exceptionally talented energy reader and healer. But the thing that he does, which really does capture the imagination, is that he channels the Z's. The Z's, believe it or not, are a galactic entity of 88 different members effectively, and even those 88 expand outwards, but it's 88 galactic entities that channel through him. And it's amazingly profound, the information that comes through. And it really, by being a member of his portal community, as I am, it really helps to set the scene for what's really going on in the world. And I know this sounds a little bit strange or a little bit out there from a mainstream perspective, but to be honest, I've seen enough over the years to have a lot of faith in the information that comes through. It's very heartfelt. It's very much about helping mankind to be prepared. And it's also helping light workers as well to position themselves, because also it talks about the energy that's coming into the planet. But really, I suppose, Jolé, I think we just leap straight into the predictions for 2024.
Yes. And his energy, Lee Harris is a beautiful vessel for these 88 energies to channel through, because there's such an organization and a real clear articulation of thoughts and unfolding. And so this is really a treat. And so I really think this is a gift. So pay attention, because they've got a lot of really good things to say.
Yeah. Yeah. And 2024 is going to be a very different year. It is going to be the start of a lot of things we've been talking about for a while. Everything will take, ultimately decades to unfold, but nevertheless, this is going to be a pivotal year, I think, is very much, because it's not just Lee Harris that's talking about this and the Z's, it's a whole bunch of others as well. So anyway, without further ado, let's leap into the first 20 minutes of predictions. But what we're going to do is going to break this up as we go along because we're going to kind of just go through this a bit, and we have another video we're going to intertwine with this, and you'll see when that becomes appropriate as well. So bear with me a second.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this broadcast for 2024. Once a year, on December 21st, I kind of cast the net wider and look at the year ahead as a whole. So the way I tend to talk about this, for those of you that are new for me, is I focus on the personal and the global, and the two are very connected. There were two things I was given about 2024. So 2024 is going to be a year of strength and purpose on a personal level. On a global or a collective level, it's going to be a year of unexpected shifts and revolution. Identity shifts, challenges, and death and rebirth energy have been moving through us, so we can ultimately hold and ground more light in the future. So what carries us through tough times? This is really important to remember. What carries us through tough times? So love, connection, and purpose. So love is something that we, of course, can feel inside ourselves, for our life, the universe, everything. But it's also something that we share with each other. We help lift each other up. And connection to others, connection to something you really believe in. So when you are hibernating, resting, or resetting, what can you reflect on, learn from, and be grateful for? Theme number one, personal evolution, acceleration. We have been letting go of old ways of being to allow new ones in. Some of your new ways of being, your habits, your choices that you're going to create in 2024 may seem drastic or wildly different to before. Changes in your relationship dynamics, so that's with friends, loved ones, and or endings of existing relationships, and new beginnings help facilitate this. But really what a relationship change facilitates is an opportunity for us to change. Something has come out of alignment with someone that we used to be very aligned with. So it's a big deal when relationships change, and this was a big part of this message. Part of the theme of personal evolution in 2024 is personal freedom, connection, and joy. They will be huge focuses for people. It's going to be a big year. It's going to be a radical year. And it makes sense because internal change mirrors the external change, which leads me to the second theme, which is global revolution energy. So, I mean, some of this we're already seeing, but it's going to amplify next year. Seeds of discontent rising. So seeds of discontent around the world in people, not in governments, not in systems. I'm talking about we who are held in those systems of government and systems and corporations, all of that. So seeds of discontent are going to get stronger. Oppression and injustice will be causing people to rise up at a new level. Now, some of you might have heard that and start panicking, but if you really look at it, we've seen so much of this in recent years. It's the same energy, it's just that the volume dial is going to get bigger, and it's going to create a revolution in people energetically. People will be less tolerant of the squeezes that they get put in. So whether it's the system squeezing them, whether it's an area of government that is not humane or is not working on behalf of the people, is working on behalf of other agendas, people are going to be less tolerant of that because disarming truths will continue to rock our world. So disarming truths, we've been seeing more things getting revealed than ever before about where there are areas of corruption or oppression in our world. And that's just going to keep snowballing. There's a kind of snowball energy now that's going to keep rolling out. So that's what's leading to the global revolution energy. There's a fire that's growing and growing and growing, and 2024 is going to be a year of amplification, but also a year of culmination. So it's not necessarily that 2024 is going to blow up a whole load of new surprising things. It's actually that it's going to be a very amplified year around lots of things that we've been seeing and hearing about for especially the last 3 years, since 2020, but even going back all the way through the last decade. So the final piece is man-made and geomagnetic influences are going to shift things globally. So, you know, this is something. So if you haven't checked out Pam Gregory on YouTube, she's wonderful. She's an evolutionary astrologer. I was with her a few days ago and we were talking about 2024, and Pam shared with me a wonderful video that she just created about the geomagnetics for 2024 and what will be playing out on a planetary level. So man-made and natural disasters and how they will affect our world are going to again be in focus in 2024, and probably at higher levels than we have seen in the last couple of years. So that's where the global revolution is going to come from. And it's interesting, one of the things that I think comes up for a lot of people, and obviously we all have different opinions, we all feel slightly differently about what's going on in the world, but I often see people very worried about the negative agendas that are playing out on the planet. And the one thing that my guides were talking about is one of the things that these geomagnetic shifts are doing is they are destabilizing everything, including negative agendas. So part of the global revolution comes in response to all of the world shifts. So I think in your mind, you can go into a very negative or dark space sometimes about what's being done by certain humans on the planet. But actually, this is such a radical time of revolution that even those who might have negative control agendas, they're going to find it very destabilizing as well, in a way that we're meant to go through. We're meant to have an increase in these changes that we're going to see so that something new can be born on the other side. So like any personal dark night of the soul, it often can be very challenging when you're in it or going through it, but when you get through the other side, you see that you got stronger as a result. So that relates to some of the themes that I'm going to come to about how we're going to come together more as a people, this global revolution energy.
Okay, hold that thought right there, Lee, because one of the things that he spoke about there is the Pam Gregory video. And I think
Right.
that is something that we are going to also share with you, this a little section of that, because it is worth, since Lee has brought it up, it's worth just kind of doubling back into that. Hey, Jolé?
Yes, I agree. It would be good to insert that here to have some context as he moves along, because 2024 is really about some internal work as well as external focus, but she's going to go into it a little bit more.
Yeah, she's very, very good. And again, she's another one I've been following. In fact, I think I started watching her maybe a year or so ago, based off Jules Ward, who is one of our community, and she's also a clairvoyant and medium. And she put me onto Pam going back a year or so ago, and I've been following her ever since. And she's very, very good. But so I was interested when Lee Harris brought her up this time around and checked it out. I thought, yes, definitely worth listening to. So what I've, the video she did is about 20 minutes long, but I've just got a 10-minute portion of it to focus upon. But when the weekly goes out, there will be a link to the entire video on YouTube for you to watch at your leisure, should you wish to do so. So bear with me a second. I am going to do a quick share screen to the next video, and then we go back to Lee Harris again, where we left him off. So bear with me. Here we go.
Hi everyone, Pam Gregory, astrologer. I just wanted to make a short video, put emphasis on the very unstable geomagnetics that we're going to be having, we are in the midst of now, and ongoing, I think, certainly until 2026. And so let me explain what I mean by that. Uranus is the planet of unpredictability. It's the planet linked to electromagnetics. It's the planet linked to earthquake activity, volcanoes, tsunamis, extreme earth events. It is in Taurus, which is fixed earth. So certainly that suggests, until Uranus moves fully out of Taurus in 2026, that we're going to have a lot more extreme earth events. But in addition, that signature also means unstable geomagnetics, and we've certainly been experiencing a lot of those. And what I'm talking about here in this video really are the solar flares. Now, many of you may be aware that yesterday, on the 14th of December, we had our largest solar flare in 6 years, since 2017. It was an X-class flare, 2.87 magnitude, and that's really huge. And to just help you understand the scale of that, the solar flare scale is like the Richter scale. It's exponential, it's not linear. So we have C-class flares, and then 10 times the strength of C-class, we have M-class flares, M for mother, and then 10 times the strength of M-class, we have X-class flares. So X-class flares historically have been very rare. So, and the way you can track this for yourself very easily, because this is highly measurable, is to go onto spaceweather.com. So again, just to give you a context for this, for instance, if we look back to 2018 and 2019, there were no M-class or X-class flares at all through those years, only C-class. This year, so far, we've had 12 X-class flares. We still haven't finished the year, and we've had 38 M-class flares, often several in a day. So this is exponential, that over a few short years, the jump in the magnitude of solar flares has really been excusing the pun, off the scale. It's because there's no dress rehearsal for this. We are little individual energy bodies, and these solar flares are some of the key ingredients of our ascension, because they're bringing information from the sun and the galaxies. So that's upgrading every cell in our body. But because there's no rehearsal for it, our physicality is having to shift very quickly to try and assimilate and adapt with what's going on. And many people will be feeling aches and pains, headaches, tinnitus, extreme fatigue. One of the classics is insomnia. I mean, I could win prizes for sleeping. Normally, it's the thing I do best. I'm averaging about 2 to 3 hours a night at the moment, and nerves get frayed. We are more sensitive. We're more triggered. So just be kind to yourself and be aware of that, because every single person on earth is experiencing this. So just be gentle with yourself and recognize the scale of what we are going through. Things like magnesium can help, potassium can help if you're feeling edgy or you're not sleeping. But essentially, these are going to keep on coming. And the Earth is in what is called solar cycle 25, and that was estimated to peak in solar flares during 2025. But the astrophysicists and scientists who, and they report on spaceweather.com, you can track it very easily, they have now pulled the peak earlier, as it were, into late 2023, where we are at the moment, and all through 2024. And yes, they create some incredible, beautiful auroras. And as I say, are a key part of our evolution, but it's quite tough on our physicality. So just know to be kind to yourself. Just know that they're going to keep on coming. 2024, I think, will be, following what space weather reports are saying, is going to be the peak year. And because the magnetic shield, and I've talked about this many times, of both the sun and the earth have both dropped, that is allowing in a much higher level of solar flares. So, as I say, the real astrological signifier of this is Uranus in Taurus, very literally unstable Earth, and Uranus being the planet most linked to electromagnetic surges. It's not, it comes in quanta, it comes in surges, it's linked to bolts of lightning and thunder, and it's not steady, it's not linear, surges. And yesterday, apparently, it disrupted, the X-class flare disrupted some areas of radio station. It also disrupted radio contacts with some planes. Remember that Uranus is linked to aviation, because in myth, Uranus was the sky god. Uranus rules Aquarius, and we are going to see a lot more of this, as not only next year do we have Uranus in Taurus, but we have Pluto moving into Aquarius, which means it's going to intensify anything linked to Aquarian and Uranian energy. And I've talked about this in other videos, but it's going to be very linked to things coming from the out there, from the sky, from the heavens, from the sun. There's going to be a lot more out there activity that is going to affect our Earth. And Gaia herself is going through her own upgrade, as we know. And so, yes, we can expect more seismic activity, earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, lots of extreme weather events, because the Earth is ascending very rapidly too. And Uranus is also the planet of unpredictability, the unexpected. So even as astrologers, we can't point down the timeline and say exactly it's going to be then that we're going to experience this massive solar flare or this massive earthquake, because they're going to be quite sudden. Now, with spaceweather.com, we can get max, I think, about a couple of days warning of big solar storms, big solar flares coming, but that's about as good as it gets. It's pretty unpredictable by their very nature, because they're linked to Uranus. Now, you may be aware, some of you, that in 1859, there was a major, what was called a solar superstorm, massive solar flares. And so this was 1st of September 1959, and it's known as the Carrington event because the astronomer who detected the solar superstorm, his name was Carrington. And this wreaked absolute havoc on what was called their Victorian internet, which was at the time, it was their telegraph system. Telegraph lines were taken over large areas of geography, particularly North America. It took them out for months. So what was their communication system then was just absolutely decimated because of this solar superstorm. Therefore, it is very likely that we, in this period of time going up to 2026 at least, will have power outages. It's also the signifier of cyber attacks, by the way, as well. But power outages, radio blackouts, electrical blackouts, and even internet blackouts. That's entirely possible, particularly if we look back to what was happening at the Carrington event. It's just the nature of, we are so interconnected now. Our world is so interconnected with the internet, and it runs our financial system. Remember, Uranus in Taurus is also linked to disruptions in the financial system as well. That if part of the internet goes down, you can imagine that's going to cause a lot of radical change, let us say, to be kind about this. So, and we'll only get a few hours or a couple of days warning for this. So this is what we are in. And the purpose of it, as I say, is incredibly positive because it's allowing us or enabling us to ascend at dizzying speed, but it's not very comfortable physically to live through because we are all human beings with, up till recently, a pretty steady energy body, but that's changing very, very rapidly.
Thank you, Pam. So forewarned is forearmed. Solar storms, solar flares, and all those kind of seismic activities that it can promote, because so much of the Earth's crust has got iron within it, and anything that has magnetic kind of resonance, like the rivers of electromagnetic energy that typically flow around the planet anyway, anything that kind of adds to that flow, and that can be a trigger of certainly seismic events and the likes.
Yes, but I feel like there's a way in which we can take advantage of it, or as we know, like ride the wave of quantum mechanics, quantum physics, knowing that the energy that's there can be utilized by us or, mankind for positive good. Maybe we're not talking solar flares per se, but
Right.
at least that energy of something reaching out, in that way can be, instead of fear, what I'm saying is
Right.
reach for something that is more of a positive connection, of understanding, rather than reaching for that fearfulness.
Exactly, and I think that's certainly the point that I'm happy, like Pam always kind of reinstates the positives of this as well, because this is all supposed to happen. This is not the end of the world. Not the end of the, it may be the end of the world as we know it, because we're ascending to a higher level, and as part of that, things have to change. And part of that change is a little bit of chaos that can be created by this, but you don't need to meet it with fear. This is supposed to happen. This is something that it is good to be aware that when these things start to happen, you say, oh yeah, well, actually, Pam told me about that. And I know and I know we don't need to panic, because at the end of the day, this is getting us to where we need to go, which is to a place of higher vibration, a higher energy, get away from, the strife and the war energy and the negativity. And it's taking us towards more of the positive. It's not always an even ride, but it's nothing to be feared. It's actually something to be embraced, because this is the reason we came here to the planet in the first place, is to experience this.
That's right. That's right. We signed up for this, so remember that.
Yes.
We wouldn't be here. So, We've got to really lock into those universal laws and start to live, take advantage of our free will, learn how to utilize it to our advantage, right?
Yes, indeed.
And to help others. So that's why we're here with Lee and with all that we bring to you.
Yes, yes, and just to say as well, as far as the weekly is concerned, the 9 points that Lee raises within this video are all laid out within the weekly, quite succinctly. So it's actually quite neat that's been pulled together as well. And thank you for that, Lee. And we're going to go back and carry on.
That's where the global revolution is going to come from. And it's interesting, one of the things that I think comes up for a lot of people, and obviously we all have different opinions, we all feel slightly differently about what's going on in the world, but I often see people very worried about the negative agendas that are playing out on the planet. And the one thing that my guides were talking about is one of the things that these geomagnetic shifts are doing is they are destabilizing everything, including negative agendas. So part of the global revolution comes in response to all of the world shifts. So I think in your mind, you can go into a very negative or dark space sometimes about what's being done by certain humans on the planet. But actually, this is such a radical time of revolution that even those who might have negative control agendas, they're going to find it very destabilizing as well, in a way that we're meant to go through. We're meant to have an increase in these changes that we're going to see so that something new can be born on the other side. So like any personal dark night of the soul, it often can be very challenging when you're in it or going through it, but when you get through the other side, you see that you got stronger as a result. So that relates to some of the themes that I'm going to come to about how we're going to come together more as a people, this global revolution energy. So moving on to theme number 3, division and deeper connection becoming simultaneous, more balanced than in recent years. So the division of the worlds, more connected will be the experience for many people, despite seeming divides and division energy appearing. This can be energetic and literal, meaning it can show up in situations as well as internal feelings. So, division energy has been so strong and very manufactured in recent years. And it's been something that many of us get heartbroken about when we see it playing out or when we're confronted with it. But the strangest thing about it, and this is something my guides have said for years, as more connection grows among people, you will also see more division grow. You will see more people who don't want to go into that frequency of love kicking off, pushing against, fighting. But one thing that seems very clear for this year is where in recent years there's this feeling of despair around division, or that you're held hostage to division energies, what we're going to start seeing is more people of like minds, like hearts, like group focus are going to start banding together to create something that is very different to that division energy. This is the year that it's going to really start growing. And by 2025, the Z's, my guides have said that we're going to see more evidence of that new Earth global movement. It's going to be more visible by 2025, but this is going to be another shake-up year, 2024. But don't be disheartened by the division energy that's out there. Instead, recognize that for many, that division energy that we see and sometimes experience is making us see the importance and the value of connection more than ever before. So rather than going it alone or hoping for the best, make sure connection starts to become a part of your life with others, with people of like minds and like hearts, or with movements. Again, you might not be a very warm, fuzzy people person, but it might be really important to you to be in connection to people who are building something for the new world, something that's going to benefit everybody. So division and deeper connection becoming simultaneous and more balanced than in recent years. People are getting a little more used to the division energy that's being sown out there, and more of us are going to work against it, if you like. to be the antidote to that, and to create more pods and groups of people where coming together is the norm, because it's going to be desired and craved and wanted. So that's going to grow this year. Theme number 4, external destabilization drives internal stabilization. This relates to balance, well-being, and nervous system care. If you have struggled with this, you know, keeping yourself balanced, focusing on your well-being, keeping your nervous system as peaceful as you can possibly help it be, if you've struggled with it, 2024, it will get easier for you to work on all of this by necessity. So health practices, tools, community, and ways of resetting yourself will be vital. Theme number 5, the rise of the light worker. You know, there are light workers working in hospitals. They're the ones who are, you know, walking around the ward consciously trying to bring love, healing, soothing to the people that they're working with. There are light workers who live in the local community and just try and bring kindness or love or listening to people. There are light workers who are creating advanced technology for our health and our healing. So light worker is more a soul mission rather than a human personality, because a light worker can be very varied in how they look. But it's essentially someone who wants to bring good and healing and light to the planet as much as possible, even as we light workers are all going through our own personal healing. 2017 to 2024 were the years listed as the rise of the light worker, and 2024 will be the biggest year yet in terms of how many people will unshackle themselves from old programming, complete major healing of past life cycles, and rebirth a new identity that is aligned with your soul. 2024 will call in fire and strength as aspects of self you may not have known before. We have 4 more themes. Okay. Heart awakening worldwide, becoming more powerful. More people than ever before will start to feel from and act from their heart. Care and compassion will underscore their actions, and what they concede in the world will underscore their actions. So the good they can do for others, the good they can do for people. Shocks and challenging changes globally as well as personally can facilitate this coming to pass. So the opposite to this heart awakening worldwide, becoming more powerful, is everyone who's playing the division game, playing the competition game, wanting to go to war with other people in their life or culturally. So even though a lot of that is getting all the attention in the world focus, it's important to recognize there is a heart awakening worldwide, and it's becoming more powerful. So you'll experience this yourself, and you'll see it out there too, especially if you start looking for it and seeking and cultivating people and places where it's happening. The next theme, why are you here on Earth? And or how do you want to experience being here on Earth? So this is very existential, because we have a choice. We can make adjustments to all of that. You know, starting to think about, what do I need more of in my life to feel a bit better about what I'm experiencing? That's really important, because usually we reach this kind of renewal of how we see and want to experience life after existential crises or questioning of everything or other sudden outer changes that are inflicted upon us. These moments can make us see life itself through a new lens and perspective. But as crises and global questioning becomes the norm, more and more people start questioning the status quo. And so that creates an energy where more people become something different to the previous status quo. So identity changes, because what used to hold us in place is no longer holding us in place. So even though at the time it's unnerving, the longer that goes on, the more we start to find a new balance point inside ourselves. And from there you can go, how do I want to experience life? Because life certainly is not what I thought it was 10 years ago. So what's important to me now? What's important to what I can contribute? What's important to what I want to experience? So, and creating differently than before becomes the focus on personal and global levels. So new ways will be supported, old ways will struggle. So your new ways might not be supported by all of the systems that hold our world together, but in your local group, in your own awareness, that's going to be important. The next theme is very short, and it kind of relates to this theme. Creational energy in 2024 will be strong and supported, but mostly in new arenas rather than the old ways. So if you're creating something new in your life or for the world, and it really is new, and it's coming from a new way of doing things and a new vibration and with a new intention, that will be supported. If you're trying to replicate someone else's past success because you think it will do something for you or the world, but it looks like the old way, it's not going to do very well. So it's very important to check your intentions with what you're creating. And finally, our final theme is cosmic awakening in waves. Cosmic awakening in waves. So May of 2024, the month of May, seems to center around a high point of people's connection to our connection to all worlds. So this is interplanetary, this is cosmic, this is our sense of being a part of the universe, not just Earth. Earth consciousness among humans has kept us very much focused on Earth so far. And that's kind of how we've been trained. We've been trained to only look at Earth and to dismiss anything else that might be cosmic in origin or interplanetary. The stage is now set on the planet for the next decade or two to radically change that. So over the next decade or two, there's going to be far more awareness of cosmic influences, cosmic relationships. And 2024 is going to see more of that awareness arriving into the mainstream. It usually comes in bursts and then settles down for a while. So May of 2024, there's some, I'm not sure why, but that's the month I'm showing there's going to be some focus around our cosmic origins, our cosmic relationships. May won't be the only burst of that energy, but it will be the first peak point of the year, and it is coming in strongly. And, you know, for years, the Z's, my guides, have been saying that there is going to be, you know, within our lifetime, a very radically different idea of our galactic origins and our connection as being a part of a universe, not just part of Earth, which is very different to how we've been trained and informed so far. So as we see more of that start to come out, and literally experiences that will happen that will in a way blow the doors off where that's concerned, we're in a period right now where we're on a runway of that beginning to permeate the mainstream. And of course, you know, you always have to look at who's telling you the story of our cosmic origins and why. Is there an agenda behind it? But all of that stuff starts to fade, because when you get in touch with those interplanetary energies, the human mind and its ability to control a narrative or be controlled by other people giving you a narrative, it starts to disintegrate. It starts to open. So for some of you, these cosmic waves might make you more visionary, more connected to the all that is. That might be your way of experiencing it. Others among you might literally be more interested in lights in the sky and all kinds of things. So it shows up differently for different people, but us remembering that we humans are just one part of the puzzle, one piece of the puzzle. And there's a lot about who we've been told that we are historically that is highly edited. So that's going to be interesting as that comes out. And that's not something I personally research or have a great deal of human knowledge around. There are many people out there who do, but it's something I'm always hearing the Z's talk about periodically. And they've been talking about the increase in that in the coming years and how that will explain so much about our energy systems, who we are, and our potential, which up until now has been somewhat clamped and limited energetically, but that's about to change.
There we are. So There you go, Jolé. I mean, there's a lot there, right? There's a lot to break down, and we can't go into a lot of detail on this purely because we just don't have the time.
Correct, but we can nutshell it, which is just evolve so that you can accept the gifts that are coming to you and let go of the past. Traditions are no longer serving us in their current forms or in their forms of the past. So it's really time for us to critically think about ways in which these traditions can be reinvigorated, through new eyes, a new set of eyes, a new way of doing things, a new way of looking at it. And it's exciting, actually, because what it means is that, hey, take hold of your life because you are a creator. So as you evolve, you should be more let's put on the table, it should look like more self-acceptance, but also acceptance of the things that are going on around you, whether they serve you or not. So it's more focus on yourself so that your environment can improve, but that requires a letting go.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things there were some articles which I wrote about this going back on a couple of occasions over the last couple of years about chaos being a prerequisite for change, because why would anybody choose to change unless they were forced to change, right? Because if you're living your life, you understand the rules of the game. They may not be perfect, but why would you shake up what you already know? And sometimes things have to change radically in order to force people to kind of look at the world differently. But the good news within all this is that what we're doing is we're upshifting, we're actually starting to have the blinkers taken off, the blinders taken off, for that, we've been force fed a diet of relatively negative energy for a long time, and we don't even know it, to a point where, and the Z's have talked about this in the past, actually. They say that mankind has been suppressed to a level of about 20% of its true capabilities for for thousands of years, to a point we don't even realize it. And what we're doing is now we're reaching a point where actually we start to realize that we've effectively been enslaved by this kind of thing that's been going on, but it's completely unnecessary. And we are miraculous beings who have the ability to do so much that we are not even aware of. And this is the unfolding of that era where we realize that we each have an awful lot of power. We are each very capable of living a life which is going to be truly blessed and joyous and all those kind of really good high energy frequency emotions. And that's where we're going. So it is something that we get excited about, including the cosmic awakening in waves, right? Because, the mere fact that the Z's are the ones who channel this information through Lee. Now, admittedly, when you see Lee doing what he did there, he is actually just reciting what he's being given, rather than what he also does is that he will literally, he will channel the Z's. And it looks slightly odd because he'll sort of sit there, close his eyes, look slightly to one side, and then his voice changes and he is channeling the Z's. But and I've actually got that little section of the same thing. You've got on the weekly, you've got access to the full broadcast that he did, but also I sort of put aside the Z's as well as a separate item. So you've got 20 minutes, which is listing what was just listed, and then there's another sort of about 17 minutes of the Z's being channeled. And it's interesting context. So, I'll attach it to the weekly, and you can have a look at it at your leisure and see what you think. But yeah, I'm excited to see about the cosmic awakening, because the Z's being galactics themselves, if you accept the fact that they exist, then we're already saying there are higher consciousnesses out there in the universe, in the multiverse, and they are all around us. If there's a fear agenda attached to it, then undoubtedly that is the mankind manipulation that's behind it. And watch out for that, because that is very well telegraphed. We've known about that for many years, that it's likely to be false flag, all this kind of stuff. We have the technology to make it look like there's an alien invasion if we wanted to, because we do have these homespun flying saucers and the likes. But ultimately, it's getting us to where we need to go, and that's exciting. So, it's a good thing to focus on.
So what was the quote again about the quantum? What did the Z say, or Lee said about the quantum mechanics? Because we're dealing with patterns here, right? So when we talk about these things like quantum mechanics and in what he's talking about, we always want to go ding, ding, ding. There's a pattern here of me being able once again to hear somebody help me learn how to focus and concentrate my energy in order to manifest. So that's a buzzword. You know, whenever you hear quantum physics, mechanics, light, you know you're dealing in something that is able to channel and to move things, meaning making the intangible tangible, which is, you know, where the rubber meets the road with this work. So
yes, yes. So having gone through that, do you think now would be the appropriate time to step into the guided meditation visualization for today?
Correct. Yes, I think just to lay a framework for you, what we're going to be doing is evolving. So we're going to get into some divine evolutionary energy, bringing that in, letting go of the past, letting go of traditions, or integrating those traditions into what is working for us today. So in the meantime, why don't you find a comfortable place to sit or lay down? Start to breathe with the rhythm of your body as you put your feet flat on the floor and your palms face up on your thighs. For those of you laying down, please keep your feet on the floor for the beginning part of this meditation, specifically to ground. And for those of you who are maybe sitting on the floor, please make sure you have some support for your back so you can concentrate on the visualization instead of trying to get comfortable. So as you breathe with the rhythm of your body, please bring your awareness into your chest cavity. Command your heartbeat to sync up with your breath. As you then begin to imagine, create, and generate a grounding cord of fire, connecting from your heart chakra, moving down parallel to your spine, moving out through the chair or whatever you're sitting on or laying on, through the floor, as it moves down through Mother Earth and her crust, the lithosphere, they call it, moving down at the speed of love through the asthenosphere and rooting yourself into the core of Mother Earth to receive all her nurturing vitamins and minerals, as well as that loving vibrational energy. Your grounding cord is 6 inches in diameter and it is of fire. And now Mother Earth is going to wrap her energy around this like a copper wire, but it is of her energy, whatever it is that she gives to you as a gift to nurture your energy and to keep you well. And in reality, this is an alternating current. So as your portal is open to receive or to send down to Mother Earth negative energy, negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, stress, frustration, she recycles that and sends it back to you as life force energy for you or anyone else to use. But this generating current or alternating current, I'd like for you to please hold this visualization. And as you are sending down this negative energy from your body, I want you to clean off your grounding cord of fire. What does that look like? Golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles blanket the inside and the outside of this fiery grounding cord. And you say, well, how does that happen? Mother Earth's cord is around me. In between, Mother Earth makes space for you to clean yourself off, anything that no longer serves you, anything you're ready to release in your genetic code, in your history, in your DNA, and the grounding of your beginnings on this earth. Any of that energy that's in that grounding cord, have it burned off and recycled. Golden sun above your head, open your crown like you would the lens of a camera, bring that golden sun down and allow for it to cascade down the grounding cord, bringing you into the present moment. And this golden essence, like melted chocolate going down your grounding cord, now picks up speed and it travels at the speed of love, reaching your roots. And then Mother Earth and her copper wire or that current kind of tightens up onto you in a very comfortable, loving way. She's your support system, your nurturing energy. Thank you, Mother Earth. I would like for you to pull in your aura 1.5 feet around you. Command it to be so as you breathe with the rhythm of the body. Call your higher self above you and snap in that astral body. Feet and feet, knees and knees, hips and hips, hands and hands, elbows and elbows, shoulders and shoulders, and head in head. Open the brow like you would the lens of a camera and visualize roses 5 feet away from you outside your aura to the right and to the left as you clean out the center of your head. Yes, you can send it down the grounding cord, but let's make it quick, fast, and in a hurry. And just all that stuff comes marching out of the brow and into those roses outside your aura as you put a golden sun above your head, calling all of your energy back. And as this happens, you're going to open your feet chakras like you would the lens of a camera and call in 15% earth energy of a color that resonates with you. I suggest blue-green energy for healing. Let this energy pool in your feet and start to travel up the side channels of your legs as that beautiful golden beam of light comes down through that golden sun. Open your crown to receive it as it just beams down through the brain, healing. All those neurons and synapses that don't support you are being dematerialized and restructured as self-love, support, divine evolution. The thought that has you critically thinking towards your highest and best self, manifesting, creating a life that is just not just your potential, but fulfillment of it, of all of the positive potential as we melt and materialize or release all of the negativity that may come with that potential. Liquefy that and send it down the grounding cord or out of the brow into the roses outside your aura as that gold light mixes in with that earth energy and begins to fill you up like water fills up a cup. Your hand chakras are opening as this essence sprouts out your feet, hands, and crown chakras filling up your aura layers. Work it out. You got light coming in. You got stuff sprouting out. You got stuff coming in your feet. You got stuff sprouting out. Work it out. Make it clear. Visualize it. See it. As this then begins to fill you up, cleaning out all your chakras, all of that tradition, all of the heaviness and the weight of the past is beginning to wash away as that newness, your new energy that you're calling back, which is filtered into that sun above your head, is giving you a new way of looking at things, a new perspective, a divine evolution towards your positive energy, allowing for you to seize that potential and to fulfill it in this lifetime, right now, in the present moment. Let go of all that no longer serves you. Step into your integrity as to what you want and who you see yourself as. Start accepting that. Pay attention to you. Let go of your concern right now for those around you. That means any jealousy, any envy, self-deprecating. Let it go. Release it. Anything your mama may have told you, your daddy may have told you that doesn't resonate, we're letting it go. And in this golden sun above our head that is calling our energy back, the Creator is filling it with divine evolution. Take a deep breath in, exhale as you breathe with the rhythm of your body. Know that you are grounded and rooted into Mother Earth with the grounding cord that is connected at the heart chakra, clean, clear, filled with gold light. And it's a fire, a motivating energy to get you to love and forgive yourself so that you can step into that free will energy of manifestation, knowing that the nurturing energy of Mother Earth supports you and surrounds you and protects you and filters that tradition into what works for you today, as long as it's underscored with joy, love, and integrity. That aura is 1.5 feet around you as you run that 15% earth energy up the side channels of your legs. And that beautiful golden beam of light comes down from the heavenly sphere and moving through you as it begins to fill you up. And this essence, this 1585, this fire begins to sprout out of your feet, hands, and crown chakras, filling up your aura layer, allowing you to let go and release the disease and the illness that no longer serves you. The thoughts, the attitudes, the perspectives that are holding you back. You're letting go of these and bringing in divine evolutionary energy from the heavenly Father, Mother, God of the universe. Creator of all that is filling you up with that divine evolutionary energy and allowing for you to let go of the traditions that no longer serve you as you filter out the negative and you reintegrate the positive. Take a deep breath in, exhale, that golden sun above your head. Allow for it to come down and fill you up. As you give those roses outside your aura layer a push, you blow them up, turn them into positive, creative life force energy for anyone to use. Close down those feet chakras like you would the lens of a camera and stop running that earth energy. Close your brow. Take a deep breath in, exhale. Bring your awareness to that heart. As you close the crown of your head, only 20% to 20%, rather, as you receive those messages from the divine and you continue to receive that Christ consciousness, we call it, or that golden light from the heavens and the ether. Take a deep breath in, exhale, close your hand chakras. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes.
Beautiful. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
I feel I've evolved.
good.
I've evolved. Mind you, I had further to go than most people. I was somewhere around Neanderthal, so I'm like just working my way up towards everybody else now. But no, that was nice. That was nice. Still getting the buzz. Still getting the buzz.
Good. I just had to let's reiterate the bones of the meditation, making sure we're grounded, our aura, higher self, astral body. We need to be reminded of our soul architecture. So we walk around whole instead of incomplete. So then once that's all together, and then we start cooking with fire, with all the energy coming in from Mother Earth and the divine, then we become these beings of light. And it becomes easier to ride the light, right?
Yes. Yes.
Come with.
Very much so. And it's like Billy Carson was talking about last week as well, in terms of, we are light. If you kind of think about us as an energy source, like everything is energy. Everything. We are, everything around us is energy. But the fact is that we're waves and we're particles. And the more you can kind of focus on that light waves that we are and elevate that energy, then the better life becomes, right? The more sort of you get into that bliss, liberation, joy, celebration of life. And that's what it's all about. And it's Christmas, of course, so we've got to have a big slice of that right now. So thank you, Joe.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
And I wanted to mention as well as one final point about the other thing that we don't put on the weekly, that is going to be going out. Sorry, join on the weekly, but not going in the event, is the piece that we've done for the Twiglet Zone, which actually takes us back to the night of the birth of the Messiah, and this goes back to the work of Dolores Cannon. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a heartfelt piece. But it really tells you that, I mean, one of the things I like about it actually is, like, having been in various nativity plays when I was a kid, playing shepherds and kings and whatever else it was, a sheep or whatever, a cloud. I think it was a cloud one year. But once you kind of get the gist of what is being said, and the reverence and the awe and everything that was going on, you kind of realize that what is depicted in nativity plays is actually, there's, as far as we can see, there's a big slice of accuracy in that, which is really nice. It's nice to think that, you know, what we celebrate at Christmas time, there is a big slice of reality. And I know there's plenty of people out there who don't celebrate Christmas, and I honor that as well, because, you know, this is not about religion necessarily. It's about, you know, Christ consciousness energy. And whether it's like any of those other ascended masters who've been here on the planet, that have created a belief system that is all about love, then, you know, that's what we're celebrating, because that is what life is really about. I encourage you to see it. The link will be there on the weekly, and that will be going out today, Christmas Eve.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Jolé. Really appreciate, as always, what you do for us, and helping us to evolve into what we are going to become in 2024 and beyond. It's exciting. So thank you.
Yes, it is.
And thank
Happy
you to
holidays.
Yes, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and have a fantastic time. I hope Santa is kind to you. I hope you're on the right side of the naughty or nice list, and that you get a lot of good things coming your way. So love and light, and we will be back with you sometime very soon. Thank you. Bye all.